The global entertainment landscape is currently reeling from what industry insiders are calling the most explosive comeback of the decade. For years, the case of Matty Juniosa remained a puzzling mystery in the archives of television history, a story of immense potential that seemed to vanish into thin air without a trace. But as we move through 2026, a series of uncovered events in London has shifted the narrative entirely, revealing a transformation that doesn't just defy the odds, it dismantles every standard rule of the modern star-making machine. We are witnessing a career evolution that has effectively exposed the limitations of traditional regional media. The man who was once a footnote in a regional competition has returned, not as a mere contestant, but as a cultural phenomenon who has forced the world to pay attention. This miracle that occurred on the British stage isn't just a win. It's a total, revealed reimagining of a destiny that everyone, including his former peers, thought had been offed by the industry years ago. But to truly understand the gravity of this 2026 breakthrough, we have to revisit the disturbing timeline of his initial departure from the spotlight, where the seeds of this comeback were first planted in the soil of rejection. In 2019, Matty was the undisputed powerhouse voice that defined Idol Philippines. His performances were more than just vocal exercises. They were emotional events that left judges and audiences in a state of absolute awe. However, the reality of the business was anything but supportive of his trajectory. In a move that led to massive online speculation regarding the integrity of the voting process, and accusations surfaced regarding the fairness of the competition, Matty was eliminated during the top 12. He didn't leave quietly at first. He joined the vocal group Idols and attempted to navigate the complexities of local stardom through acting roles in high-profile dramas. But sources close to the production of his final projects suggest that the internal conflict within the industry was becoming unbearable for an artist of his caliber. The man who deserved the global stage was being treated as a background player, restricted by local expectations. Then, without any formal announcement or a final goodbye to his loyal fanbase, Matty Juniosa simply disappeared, leaving behind a trail of unanswered questions and a group that would soon disband in his absence, signaling the end of an era that many thought was his peak. The mystery of his whereabouts became a central topic in fan circles for years, but our investigative team has finally pieced together the reality of his lost years in the United Kingdom, revealing a story of grit that was hidden from the cameras. While rumors suggested he had retired or was facing personal struggles that kept him from the stage, the truth was much more grounded and, frankly, shocking to those who knew him only as a celebrity. From 2022 to early 2025, Matty was living a double life in Scotland, far from the neon lights of Manila. He was a student at the Royal Conservatoire, but his academic pursuits were overshadowed by a brutal, daily reality of survival. Matty was working as a part-time waiter in Glasgow, serving tables to pay for his next meal while staying in crowded hostels and surfing on the couches of fellow students just to have a place to sleep. He was a ghost in the music industry, performing in small, independent theater productions at the Edinburgh Fringe, where no one recognized him as a former television star. He chose the struggle of the underground over the comfort of a compromised career at home, a decision that many now see as a stroke of genius, though at the time, it looked like a total collapse of his professional dreams and a DMN, shame to his supporters who thought he had given up. That period of enforced silence ended in 2026 when Matty resurfaced on Britain's Got Talent, but the technicality that followed has stunned even the most seasoned television executives who thought they had seen it all. His audition with Purple Rain was an immediate viral sensation, prompting Simon Cowell to press the golden buzzer in a moment of rare, unscripted emotion. However, it was his semi-final performance of Dream On that caused the real controversy and rewrote the rulebook of the competition. In a move that many claim exposed a loophole in the show's traditional structure, Amanda Holden awarded him a second Golden Buzzer, the first time a solo artist has ever achieved a dual golden status in the history of the franchise. This created an uproar in the industry, with critics arguing over the fairness of the move, while audiences celebrated the undeniable justice of his success. The waiter from Glasgow had effectively broken the most famous stage in the world, forcing the judges to abandon their own rules to acknowledge a talent that could no longer be ignored or SHT on by critics. He wasn't just a singer anymore. He was a revealed legend who had bypassed the entire system, proving that his earlier accusations surfaced regarding his talent were more than justified. As we look at the now for Matty Juniosa in 2026, the report concludes with a provocative look at what this means for the future of global music and the power of the independent artist. The rumors of a massive independent recording contract are no longer just whispers. Industry analysts suggest that Matty is currently in negotiations that could make him one of the most powerful independent artists in the world, free from the DMN contracts of his past. He has successfully navigated a path from eliminated to essential, turning his past challenges into a narrative of absolute triumph that resonates with millions of underdogs worldwide. His story has become a shattering wake-up call for talent scouts everywhere. The next global icon might be the one you've already said no to, or the one you thought had offed their own career. As he prepares for a 2026 world tour that includes stops in the very cities that once overlooked him, the question remains, will the industry ever be the same after a man proved that you don't need a yes from the gatekeepers if you have the will to walk through a different door entirely? Matty Juniosa didn't just survive his lost years. He used them to build a kingdom that the rest of the world is only just now being invited to visit. This investigative report highlights a fundamental truth about the modern age. Talent cannot be erased, hidden, or offed forever. Matty Juniosa's journey from a Glasgow cafe to the pinnacle of British television is a masterclass in resilience and the power of a second chance that you create for yourself through sheer force of will. It forces us to ask, how many other missing stars are currently waiting in the wings, working SHT jobs and waiting for their moment to make the world realize exactly what it lost?